All right, we're live. It's the Kratom Gals. We are here. Welcome to the replay for those that are watching this. Get ready to laugh, learn, and maybe even get a little heated because we're going to react to trending topics. We're going to debunk a bunch of myths and share our collective experience as responsible whole leaf Kratom consumers. Please note this live stream is presented solely for educational purposes, is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician or other medical professional. Our community comes together to share knowledge, stories, and experiences. Let's take a moment and go around the room here. It's kind of like Brady Bunch style in here. I'm Madalyn Sklar. Y'all know me as the gal behind the voice of the Kratom Stories podcast. I also have the Kratom Real Talk community, which is super cool. And I started this Kratom Gals live stream series back in December. We've been at it a while, gals, and it's been so much fun. And the brand new episode of the Kratom Stories podcast this week features the four of us together. We had so much fun, and we're definitely going to play some clips from that. But why don't we go around the room so everybody can say hi? I know Misty's busy posting on social media. Hopefully she can stop her. Are you mid-sentence, Misty?
No, I haven't even. I've only gotten to
Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
My name is Misty Brown, aka the tealeafpodcast, and I am a 5-year Kratom consumer, advocate / activist. Kratom saved me from an 11-year addiction to pain pills, benzos, and muscle relaxers.
Amazing.
And my name is Jennifer Gillis, also known as Winifred Jenkins. I'm a 5-year Kratom consumer. I take Kratom for my chronic pain. It's changed my life for the better. And I'm glad that Madalyn started doing this so that we can come together and I'm losing my voice and stomp out all the misinformation out there. Stomp it out because it's really annoying.
Yes, it is. And Venus?
And Venus Usher, or Kratom Butterfly, or Kratom Miracles, or the dog ate my dentures. And I found Kratom about almost 8 years ago. And I've just been wanting to spread the word, tell everybody about it ever since so they can feel the freedom that we feel too.
Awesome. And we have a question here on YouTube. Elena is asking, is Kratom really addictive? Who would like to take that one?
Not for me.
It's not for me.
I don't
Not
crave
for me
it.
at all.
I ain't beg, borrowing, stealing, getting on my knees, slobbering D's to get more. So no, it's not addicted for me.
Nope. And I will say the past couple of weeks, just as an example, I've forgotten to take it, and I've realized I was in pain. And so that, oh, I'm way behind. But I mean, it also just depends on what reason you're taking it for. Like we take it for chronic pain. We were prepared to take, opiates for the rest of our lives, to just function every day.
Right.
And so I like to be able to say I'm dependent on a plant rather than, going to the pharmacy and the pain management and everything. So I wouldn't say it's addictive, in my opinion.
Mm-mm.
And we're
Not at
consuming the
all.
whole leaf powder. The powder, we're not talking about extracts. We're not talking about 7-OH. Usually when you hear about any issues with addiction or overuse is mostly because of those products, which shouldn't even be called Kratom, honestly. So that's my thought on that. So there's plenty of helpful information out there on the science of Kratom. Go to kratomanswers.org. It's a great place to go to get some information on that. Y'all be sure to hit that like and share and all those buttons that we're all supposed to do to help support each other. We would love to help other people know that we are broadcasting. So please take a moment to share the love. And, you can support the live stream, the podcast, and the Kratom Real Talk Forum by going to our Buy Me a Coffee page, buymeacoffee.com/Kratom Stories. Misty has one too for Misty's merch, and that is buymeacoffee.com/thateabishhh, her usual username. Is that right? Did I get it right?
Yes. Yeah.
Trying to make sure I said it right. So y'all be sure to send some love through supporting this if you're able to. It's okay if you cannot, but these these things, it costs, like we do this because we want to advocate, we want to help people. It's just something we're all very passionate about as longtime Kratom consumers. But all these things we have, all these tools and things that make all these programs run does cost money. So, and it does come out of our own pocket. So we always appreciate the support. If you ever feel compelled, we appreciate it so much. Thank you all for everybody that's here live to us.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
As Craig says, say no to 708.
Okay,
So,
yeah. Elena, you said you're taking it for severe pain. Absolutely. I mean, if you're like I said, I mean, there's really nothing else you can say about that. Like, I can't stand people to say, oh, quit taking it for a week and see what happens. Like, so you want me to not have any quality of life for a week and just lay up in the, like, I take it to go to
Would
the
you
store.
tell somebody that if they were taking, antidepressants,
Opiates?
if they were taking opiates, if they were taking
Yes.
antidepressant meds, would you tell that to somebody?
Exactly.
It's like, how dare they say things like that? When I was in pain management for 9 years, taking opioids every day for my chronic pain, nobody ever said, hey, why don't you go stop it and see how you do? It's like, why would I do that? I take it for pain. I'm not taking it to feel good. I'm taking it to reduce the pain so I'll feel good. I'm not taking it solely to feel good.
Right.
There's a difference,
Because the magic of Kratom is what you don't feel. Your pain is free. You're anxiety free. You're depression free. That's the magic of holy powder. Don't even get me started on that shit, man.
I see the doctor.
You're just living.
Hey, Heidi.
Hey, Heidi. Always great seeing you.
Hey, Craig.
So we are going to watch a variety of videos today. A little later, we're going to watch this 28-minute documentary from Bloomberg on Kratom, and it is not very good. It's pretty darn negative about our plan. We're going to watch it in its entirety. I know we'll stop a lot to talk, but we're going to watch that later. So if you can't stay for the whole live stream, be sure to watch the replay later, because this is, wherever you're watching right now, is recorded. It will be recorded. So when we're done, it's there. But we're going to start with the Kratom story. There's so many different Kratom things. It's like, I'm trying to remember which, I was about to say the Kratom Gals. It's the Kratom Stories podcast episode, the new one that came out on yesterday, featuring the four of us, the Kratom Gals. We actually did an episode where we shared our Kratom journey. We talked about advocacy and why it's so important to us. And then we also talked about how and why we came together as the Kratom Gals. Is if you've not heard the episode yet, be sure to take a listen, because it really if you enjoy us, you will love this episode, because we kind of go a little deeper about all the things, what drives us to do all this that you don't always hear here in the live stream. So I'm going to play a couple of clips of this for y'all. So let's take a listen together. Hey, I'm Madalyn.
I'm Misty.
I'm Jennifer.
I'm Venus.
And we're Kratom
Gals.
Love it. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
There's a different kind of episode we're going to do today. We decided to bring the Kratom Gals together and chat.
Let's do this, ladies.
Let's go.
Get to stomping.
I love that.
It took us to get that intro. It took 17 over the course of 2 hours. But we loved every minute of it. It was so much fun.
It was fun.
And at some point we will share a blooper video so you can watch behind the scenes of us doing that, because it is quite funny to watch. I'm going to play 2 more clips from that episode. And if you're not familiar with the Kratom Stories podcast, you can go to kratomstoriespodcast.com. You can listen on YouTube. You can listen in any podcast player. We're in Apple Podcast Player. We're Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon, wherever they have podcasts, we are there. So you can come join it, listen, and if you like it, subscribe, so then you don't ever miss an episode. So, all right, let's listen to this next clip, because I was watching how other YouTubers were doing reaction videos, and I was just intrigued by it, and I thought, okay, I have an idea. How cool would it be to get a group of us? And it was not wasn't thinking gals. It just kind of happened. That was not some grand plan. My thought would be to get a group of us together and we would watch videos about Kratom, because there's so many of them, good stuff and bad stuff, and that we could watch and talk about. And I thought that would be really neat. So I started getting all these ideas. And because I was getting to know you gals, I was like, I knew Misty would be great for this, because Misty, you're so comfortable on camera, you're great with video, and you're very passionate about advocacy. So I thought, I bet Misty will do it. But I thought, but it'd probably be kind of cooler if there was a few more of us, because I don't know. I didn't think anybody would want to listen to just me talk about it, showing videos. And I thought, well, if it was me and Misty, that'd be pretty cool. But maybe there needs to be like 4 of us on the screen. Like I just had that vision of like 4 of us on the screen and we play videos. And I was getting to know Jennifer and Venus, Misty was in pretty quick. And I was like, but Jennifer and Venus, y'all were not really doing video yet. But I thought I would just ask and see. And I definitely want y'all to share. We'll go. So in that episode, you'll hear, it's not going to play it here because they answer one at a time, but they talk about like, what their thought was when I said, hey, y'all, you want to do this with me? We're going to get a group of us together. And it wasn't Kratom. I did not come up with a name first. I did not know it would become the Kratom Gals. I just knew I wanted to start some kind of live stream series like this where we react to videos. I knew that would be super cool. And I wasn't 100% sure anybody would show up, but obviously y'all do, since we've been doing this since last December, and I appreciate it. I love the support we get here. But I wasn't sure if people would care for it, would like it. But in the process, we've all gotten to become really good friends through this, even though we already knew each other on social media. And it's kept me more up to date of just everything going on. I feel like I'm just 10x of where I was before we started the live stream. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I agree. Because, we're constantly, you and Misty are set up in y'all's bat caves, constantly surveilling. It's good, because we're constantly, behind the scenes finding stuff and deciding on whether or not, it's important enough to. And so, I think it's definitely helped, because sometimes you don't even, if I'm busy, I don't even read things before we started the Kratom Gals. I would forget about it or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's cool that we can, some people don't even get the Google alerts or, see things on the news. So I think it's definitely a good thing.
Yeah. Well, there's just always just things happening. I'm going to play one more clip, and then Craig, we'll get to your question after that. So let's listen to this next clip.
It's Venus, because you were way more apprehensive than I was. And just to see you doing stuff also motivated me. I'm like, dude, if Venus can do that, I know I can do this. You know what I mean? So,
and
yeah. So I'm glad that I think we're the perfect for the job.
Yeah.
The motivation station.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's just it's an important part of advocacy, because we're helping to get this information out that I think so many people in our community would not otherwise know about. Right. Especially like when we will sit here and live stream when the AKA does one of their webinars. And, I usually would just watch the replay whenever at my convenience, not usually watch it live, and usually have a lot of thoughts over what they're talking about, but not really going and talking to anybody about it. But to play this together as a group and us talking and sharing our thoughts in real time is incredibly powerful. And I really feel like it's motivating others to get more involved in the community. And that's what I hope people.
We've seen it.
Yeah.
We sure have seen it. It's amazing. It's amazing, this community of ours, the Kratom community.
Yeah, Kratom community is awesome.
Craig,
yeah, I'm gonna bring up his comments. So, because I just wanted to get through those videos first. So, Misty, why don't you explain in case anybody hasn't heard about this? Because this is kind of a new thing that just.
Yeah, I mean, from my understanding, it's kind of like the KCPA coming out of Indonesia. But we should know more on Wednesday's webinar that the American Kratom Association is going to have for them to better understand it for people like you and me and us.
Yeah, I want to
know. I'm not really involved on the vendor side of things. And even if vendors, like I've saw a couple vendors say that they might have to jack up some prices, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. I mean, those farmers work hard as hell every day. They deserve to be paid
I'm
well.
sure that's going to be part of what happens here because, it's all about setting standards over there. So instead of a farmer just bagging it up, we don't know what they're doing, what their process, and just shipping it over. They're putting regulations in over there as you kind of actually thought they should have already, So, but I imagine we're going to see a price increase.
And I would say, don't freak out and start, like, I don't think it's going to be, I mean, it'll probably be a minute, for them to get the regulations in place. And like I said, we'll, like Misty said, we'll find out more, during the AKA webinar, but, I wouldn't let it freak you out enough to where, you feel like you have to go buy like 20 keys or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't do none of that,
Don't have a vendor scare tactic. Don't have them scare you and, oh my God.
Yeah, because I've seen that before.
Kilos. I have too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're telling you that because they want to hurry up and get rid of the product they have.
Right. Yeah. Just always do your due diligence and just be very
aware. I'd be happy to pay more, Kristen, because, I want to know that my Kratom is lab tested. I don't care if I pay more because it's helping the villagers out. It's all one love.
Exactly.
100%. 100%. We've got a few news stories to watch, three different news stories, and then we're going to get to that Bloomberg video. If anybody just got here, we're going to be watching a little later in its entirety that 28-minute video that Bloomberg put out with their 4 million subscribers on YouTube. It's already gotten hundreds of thousands of views. It does not shed Kratom in a very positive light, but we're going to watch that a little later. I know we're going to have lots to talk about with that. But first, we're just going over just some short news stories that have come out this week. This first one, Knoxville, Tennessee, right, is this first one.
Yeah.
And they just did a report that came out, looks like late yesterday. So I'm going to play this for you all.
More people are ditching alcohol and turning toward a drink called kava tea, as well as Kratom. Reporter Sarah Ottman joins us to break down what that is and whether health leaders say we should or should not.
They're at a high school.
Sarah?
Yeah, John, just here in Knoxville, there are 2 kava tea and Kratom bars. Those who drink the teas swear by them and say they've changed their lives for the better. But the Metro Drug Coalition says it's better to steer clear.
Wow, that this is an amazing plant medicine that is so beautiful for many folks.
Kava and Kratom. They're advertised as an alternative to alcohol that still gives you a social buzz. But what exactly are they? According to the National Institute of Health, Kratom is an herbal substance that can produce opioid and stimulant-like effects. Many people use it to manage drug withdrawal symptoms and as a pain reliever. Kava is an herbal substance that has been used for years as a medicine and for ritual purposes. It's known to treat anxiety and insomnia.
And I think that when we can find the thing that can take the edge off, that's not going to wreck our life, make us, go out and do stupid things, or get a DUI, I think I'm all about it.
Charity and Eric are regular Kava and Kratom users. They say it completely changed their lives.
I always felt like alcohol would make you put a mask on. It was like hard for us to be ourselves, almost like we're hiding behind a shield. But when we drank kava, it was like taking the mask off and you could just be yourself.
They're marketed towards people who are
like
sober,
her.
but the Metro Drug Coalition warns the products could lead addicts down a slippery slope.
Eventually, usually not more than a couple of days or weeks, it leads them back to using
A couple of
opiates again.
days?
A couple of
Are you fucking kidding me?
It's like, is he for real? He
A
thinks,
couple of days or weeks. Get out of here, brother.
oh my God.
Because again, it plays on the same receptors in the brain.
MDC says replacing old substances with new ones is never a good idea.
The way that it's
What?
marketed and we see it in our community makes it feel as though it's maybe not dangerous, or maybe this is a good or even healthy alternative, which is not the case.
What?
Medical experts say it's important to do your own research before you choose to take part in any new substance.
So, was she the one that sat down and drank some kava with that chick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like, it looked like they
And
brought
they
her to
didn't
her
quote-
garage. It looked like their garage, and they made like a
Yeah,
little kava bar
I
for
was
her.
like
That's what it looked like.
excited, thinking it was the kava bar I went to, but
Right.
it wasn't.
No, you could tell that was their garage, but it looked like
Yeah,
they just did
Angel.
that for her, you know.
Angel, you are correct. It is the opposite of that. And you know,
Yeah.
why does it become a problem when Americans touch it? You know, Pacific Islanders have been using kava for centuries. They even give
Right.
it to their babies and toddlers. You know,
Yeah.
and then kratom has been used for centuries in Southeast Asia. But no, once it comes to America, it becomes a problem.
It's
You know,
crazy.
what I said on their ex when they posted over there, I was like, it's the person, it's not the
Yeah.
substance. Like, good Lord.
Right.
Yeah.
Couple days, couple weeks, and
A
they go
couple
right back
days.
out.
It's like, I went to a kava bar. I'm gonna go get trash again. It's been a couple of days. I'm gonna go
Like, how
back to
many
whatever I
people-
was doing before.
Like, how many people go drink alcohol and then they gotta go do some lines of cocaine?
Right?
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Exactly.
It wasn't that bad though, because they didn't quote the old ass FDA shit. It was like,
Yeah.
drug of concern. So it wasn't too bad.
But we're seeing more and more stories, like news stories like this with kratom kava. Kratom
Mhm,
kava.
yep. And we know why.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. So this next video is Iowa City, which we've been following. There's a news story that just came out last week.
Some users are defending the herbal substance as a pain relief option, but the FDA
'Cause it
warns kratom
is.
is dangerous and addictive and is technically illegal. KCRG
I-
29's
what?
Grace Vance spoke to one kratom user about the drug and the concerns about a
Drug.
ban.
I'm here at Up in Smoke in Iowa City, which has been selling the herbal substance kratom for years. But if the city council passes a proposed ban of selling kratom, places like this will no longer be able to sell products like this.
I started taking it, and I thought, wow, getting a lot better pain relief.
Howard Tecca says he's been dealing with chronic pain for over a decade.
So basically, every part of my body has some sort of pain condition with it.
For 7 years, Tecca says he's found relief from a spoonful of kratom almost every day. He says it allowed him to stop taking prescription opioids. Even though he lives in Washington, he's worried a kratom ban in Iowa City would eventually impact him.
There could be possibly a domino effect, which, I don't want to have happen. We could go to other towns here in Iowa or a statewide ban.
States including Indiana and Wisconsin already ban kratom. Tecca buys his kratom online, but worries a ban could limit people who don't have that option.
What I'm worried about is for people who live here in Iowa City that can't buy online or like the convenience of buying here, especially older people.
Signs for kratom are easy to find in Iowa City, even though this is technically illegal. The FDA has not
Why do they
approved
keep
kratom
saying
as a
that?
drug.
They
She said
say
that-
technically illegal like 4
Said that
times.
twice. Yeah, at least twice. Yeah. What?
The only thing I can think of, Jesus, wait, my husband's
It's
in
not
here.
legal. It's not illegal on a federal level. Is that what she's
Yeah,
trying to
I'm thinking
mean? That
maybe
like,
the medical claims behind it, which vendors don't really do that anymore.
well, as journalists, they should understand the difference between that. Like, do they not understand like what?
Yeah, but they
Everybody
say like
understand?
3 or 4 times, technically illegal.
Oh my God, we still got a little ways to go.
Or supplement. So anyone selling it as such is technically doing it illegally.
There may be potential for using kratom therapeutically, but that is an area of ongoing research.
Becky Connolly is a prevention specialist at Community and Family Resources. She says the concerns are the lack of research on kratom, especially its long-term effects.
The studies that are happening should help us better understand kratom and its impacts in a few years.
The FDA is harsher, calling it addictive and dangerous with long-term health risks. The Drug Enforcement Agency sought to treat it as a Schedule I narcotic, just like cocaine and heroin, but both say more research is needed. So Connolly says,
the jury's still out.
Iowa City Council member Josh Moe said the same thing. As he debates the kratom ban, he told me, quote, there is inadequate information to determine if it is efficacious for medical treatment or extremely harmful and dangerous, or perhaps all of the above, meaning people like Tekka have to wait and see if they'll keep access to the substance he says has changed his life.
Kratom helps out so much with pain in many ways, and it's remarkable.
In Iowa City, Grace Vance, KCRG TV 9 News.
I love Howard. I talked to him behind the scenes.
He
He's
did
cool.
awesome.
He's a cool.
He did a
ass
really
dude.
good job.
But yeah, it's like you could totally tell when these like city council members or even the journalists, they have no idea about the FDA's ascending dose study.
Right.
You know, they couldn't even come to the conclusion that kratom was dangerous, and when they had them 40 participants swallow 24 capsules in 5 minutes.
Right. I'm just waiting for that report to come out.
Me too.
I
And I'm
hate
gonna
that we
be
have to
all on it.
wait.
I'm gonna be all on it like white on rice, y'all. Exposing their asses.
All right. So we got another news story before I hear that Dr. Pepper
I was
sound.
going to say, hold up. Let me go grab
You do that on purpose. You're doing that ASMR. You're just like, well, you can hear that pop. It's like,
Am I supposed to take it away from my headphones?
No, it's satisfying. I like to hear it.
It is. It's a great sound. It's a great sound. They knew what they were doing with all that. The sodas.
Oh yeah.
Getting us hooked on those. But I already had a Dr. Pepper, so I think I'm good. I don't know, but hearing that, makes me want one.
When I was at the birthday party, I looked over, and at the table right in front of me, they each had it. There were 3 Dr. Peppers right in front of me. I was like, it's time for the kratom gas. It's time for me to get
Yeah,
them.
you're like, there's Madalyn, Misty, and Jennifer.
Yeah. It was funny.
All right. So we got the next news story we're going to watch is one that just came out yesterday, and is in Indiana. Now we know kratom is not legal in Indiana. It's one of the few states, not many states, as they keep like to say, that where it's not allowed. And the title of this video is "New Drink Illegal in Indiana, but Selling in Illinois," because I mean, they are a border
That's
state.
the title of it?
That's the title of it. Yeah. So
How
we're gonna.
I
creative.
didn't even bother sharing that.
Yeah, we're gonna watch this because it's just this is part of why we come together and do these videos each week. Is that we find these and it's like everybody needs to know this is what goes on around the country. This is what people are putting out about kratom in the media, and it's just so much inaccurate information. So yeah, let's watch this one. It's short.
Well, a drink claims to be a euphoric seltzer. It's called New Brew, and it is banned in Indiana, but you can drink it in Illinois. The website says it's the first non-alcoholic beverage with effects you can feel. It does this with 2 plants, kava and kratom. They interact with receptors in the brain, yet the company warns the product is addictive and should not be consumed every day. The drink is illegal in Indiana because of one of the ingredients. Indiana State Police say no matter the drink, you should know and understand what's going in your body.
That's why I didn't bother sharing it, because they name the company.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
Well, I know we have. We're not very.
That was
thrilled with
Emmy, wasn't it?
company.
Oh, Emmy was. Oh, yeah. I thought that
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah,
But
it's kinda
still,
almost
it's
like reverse marketing.
I know. I mean, we're not a fan of that product, but they're still demonizing kratom
Yeah.
over this.
It's like they're
And
just
again-
they're like planting a tiny seed with that one too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like a lot of how do you say in like Coloradans is Colorado's Colorado.
Indianians.
Indianians.
I guess.
Indianians.
So a lot of them are
Don't
going to
know.
go hurry up over there in Illinois to go pop some seltzers and then go back home.
Right. There's a little bit more of the story. I just knew we'd want to stop and talk. Next part is with the police officer.
Most important thing is, as a consumer, you need to know and understand anything that you put in your body. Number one, what are you taking and what are the effects of that's going to be on your body? We all know what's going to happen when we drink water. However, if you consume too much alcohol or you're consuming this type of drink that's going to make you become addicted to it, is that something that you want to be in your body on a regular basis?
Yes, State Police just reminds us that driving under the influence of anything that impairs your motor skills is cause for.
Dude, they act like it's like heroin in a can or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, yeah.
Even heroin, you wouldn't be addicted to the second you.
Oh
it's
my
like, dude, that's hardcore.
Kratom doesn't even impair your driving. I mean, I'm not well versed, in the Kratom. I mean, in the kava community, like Jordan is. He's a kava connoisseur. Look. This right here makes me addicted.
Yeah.
Same here. I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to go get me one. You're like making me want one. You're making me want
I got
one.
mine in the freezer chilling.
Oh,
Get a little bit icy.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
You just don't want to drink anything that's going to make you become addicted to it. It's like, good Lord.
Yeah.
I mean, but the thing is that, these companies are their Kratom extracts and their kava extracts that they're mixing together, and we saw the bullshit that's going on with that founder of another .org. I don't even want to name his shit. I ain't even gonna. No, fuck him. But anyway, we're seeing the backlash and the destruction that those little bottles cause.
Well, Craig, there's actually been a study on taking Kratom while driving.
Yeah, it doesn't impair the driving. Kava,
Mhm.
I'm not quite sure about. Like I said, I'm not well versed in that side of the community.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, I've had kava myself, and I don't feel impaired at all. I feel relaxed.
My husband drank like a half of a thing at the little kava bar. And I mean, dude, he's a lightweight when it comes to literally anything. And I mean, he drove fine, I mean, I don't really see anything crazy with kava. I just relax a little bit more,
Yeah. We're going to watch, before we get to that Bloomberg video, which I know everybody's like waiting to watch because we're going to have so many thoughts on it. We've got one more video important for us to watch for this week because it is with the federal government and Kratom, and it's very concerning. House Committee on Energy and Commerce, they had a meeting this week 4 days ago, so I guess it was earlier in the week. It's their it was like 3 hours long, health subcommittee hearing evaluating FDA human foods and tobacco programs. So there is some Kratom discussion in there, so we're going to watch this. It's about.
Wait till you hear the site she sources.
I haven't watched the whole thing. It's like 5 minutes long, so I have not watched the whole thing, but I'm very concerned just from the little bit, just to cue this up for y'all. So, I think we're going to have lots to say.
Like, this ain't even local legislation. This is the big dogs.
This is in Washington, D.C. This is federal government. So, all right, here we go.
There are products on the shelves across the country that are not so safe. They kind of exploit the gaps that are out there. They say, well, we're not really a food additive. We're not really a dietary.
I'm going to speed it up just a little bit if everybody's okay with that.
I hate it when people do that. They do that smile thing.
Oh,
when they're saying something they know is going to make someone like,
Oh, yeah.
Because they're clearly, they know they're not telling the whole truth, or they're saying something that's.
Oh, yeah.
I can't stand it.
For sure. And real quick, hey, Melanie, thank you for joining us. Great to have you here. We love when I get our live viewers here. All right, let's watch this.
Supplement. We're not a drug. But some of them are very dangerous. My local newspaper, the Tampa Bay Times, did a big expose on Kratom. Across the state of Florida over the last decade, over 580 people have died from overdoses related to Kratom, with at least 46 Floridians dying from Kratom-specific use. I know back in July that FDA issued a safety alert, and you've said that substance is not being lawfully marketed, but it just seems like we're in this limbo where people assume, okay, it's on the shelf, it must be safe. FDA says, wait, no, it's not so safe. But don't you have, is this what you highlighted at the beginning of your testimony, is you need more registration and listing authority, or is that what's the answer here?
Thanks, Congresswoman. I think that is a great question. And I think you're right that there are manufacturers who are exploiting either ambiguity within the system, or they actually really their product.
Misty, do you know who that lady is?
Yeah, you'll have to go back to her name. I think she's a congresswoman out of
Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess a House rep, federal level, because this is Washington, D.C.
That's where we need to be.
That's
where we need to be when we have the federal KCPA going.
Yeah.
We need to be in that room.
Yeah.
The legal pathways that we have. Kratom has attempted to be, we've had applications as a dietary supplement new ingredient. It has not met the standard for that. So it is not allowed for use in the United States. We recently took a significant action against a manufacturer who had psilocybin illegally in a number of products. But we are seeing more. We had an earlier conversation about THC being added to food. I think it's an area where we have to collectively figure out sort of how do we address the use of ingredients that are not legally allowed to be used in food, and how we're going to get our arms around those issues.
Ranking Member Pallone has introduced a bill that would give FDA enforcement authorities for products that are being incorrectly marketed as dietary supplements. I'm a co-sponsor of HR 8123 because it would explicitly allow the FDA to prevent the marketing and import of these products masquerading as dietary supplements, as well as the ability to seize them. Unfortunately, this bill wasn't included in the hearing list. Are you familiar with this bill? And is this part of the answer, or would they still be able to exploit loopholes?
I'm not familiar with that bill, but I'd be happy to work with your office and Congressman Pallone on that. As I said, I think that there is a
she don't get that name.
A meaningful problem we have right now with ingredients not having that are not legally allowed to be used in foods, of which dietary supplements are a food. But be happy to work with your office and Congressman Pallone to see if that bill addresses these kind of issues.
When you see that kind of harm to the public, and you can issue a warning and you can say, okay, we can clear the shelves of this, but you simply don't have the ability to use any discretion to regulate it. What's the heart of the matter on that?
So this space is dominated not by major players, but by relatively small players. There's a little bit of a whack-a-mole going on where you stop it here and it pops up over here. We've experienced in the food space, the major players, when presented with an enforcement action, go to pretty great lengths to make sure they correct it going forward. So that's a relatively minor enforcement engagement can be very effective to correct
Do you have the ability to initiate a scientific study on some of those substances to prove that they're a threat to the health safety?
It's already
I don't believe so. I think we have robust science that demonstrates that these products are harmful. It's why they're unable to get authorization as dietary supplements. It's why they're unable to get authorized for use in food otherwise. I think it really is about how do we have the correct infrastructure in place to be able to address an emerging issue that is, I think, presenting significant challenges to all of us.
Thank you very much. I yield back my time.
Generally yields back. I recognize Mr. Pfluger, 5 minutes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. King, I'll be focusing on the illicit uses of products, including vaping products, that many of my constituents are just fed up with, actually. I think it is incumbent that the FDA urgently address the regulatory challenges in the tobacco industry. And I think that immediate action is needed for compliant tobacco products.
I think it was done.
Yeah, I think I just realized I guess because I had it sped up, it went a little bit faster.
For her to sit there and say, oh, well, they see it on the shelf, so it must be safe. That's bullshit. I can't tell you how many times I've seen just in the past, probably in the past month, I've read 20 articles about people getting some type of poisoning or salmonella or lead.
There's
being
so
too
many
high.
different things,
And
and
it's like,
FDA is
dude,
doing
y'all are-
nothing.
They're not doing shit.
The amount of recalls that I've seen just this year alone is astonishing. On
Mhm.
cinnamon, I saw a Fabuloso video yesterday. How there's bacteria in Fabuloso.
Yeah.
Wow.
I haven't seen that yet, but I believe it.
Yeah, but it seems like every day now there is some recall on something that's on the store shelves, something with the fruits and vegetables. It's just this constant. It's like, why are they not focusing more on that? Obviously, there's some major problems going on, and the FDA is not doing their job, obviously, because these things shouldn't happen.
It's like, are y'all even like the Boar's Head thing? Like, did y'all even go check that place out in the
No,
last
they just
couple
shut
years?
down. They just shut down that plant. I read it
Yeah.
this morning. It's like they just shut it down.
It's like they're not doing their due diligence.
How are
Like,
they
they're not.
allowed to be? Like why is FDA is so bent on going after kratom that there are much bigger issues going on in this country. Much bigger issues.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And the people that are defending the 7-OH products, they're not seeing what we see. This right here, that guy from the FDA should have already known that there's been studies done at the FDA regarding only powder.
Yes.
Yep.
And these 7-OH products are just it's gonna just fuck everything up.
Yeah.
100%. Yep.
I mean, there could be anything besides 7-0. A lot of these things don't even have 7-0 in them.
Right.
I mean, they don't. It's scary to see that. And it's from a lot, there's so many places popping up. But I mean, it's a lot of the people that I've seen mentioned on Reddit, not millions of times, but many, many times, and people are saying, oh, yeah, it's the only thing that helps, my pain. It's like, well, what is helping your pain? It's not 7-0 because that wasn't in there.
Exactly. They have no idea.
Right.
And they're using hexane, acetone, and ethanol to extract.
Right. That alone does not sound good.
Yeah.
That
It's
they're
scary.
doing that. I wouldn't want to be ingesting that. Shout out to some of our newer viewers that have gotten here live with us, John and Mona.
Hey, John. Hey, Mona. Hey,
Terry.
Terry.
Great to see y'all. Thank y'all for being
Hey,
here.
Mona. Hey, Terry.
We've already been watching a bunch of videos, different news reports just in this past week. There's just so much going on. And then, what we just watched on the federal level, that's scary, that discussion. Now it's time for the Bloomberg. Have any of y'all watched it? Because I watched the whole thing.
I did.
You did?
Yes,
Venus,
I did.
you did? Okay. So we've
And
all
I was
watched it.
I'm going to
It's not
stop
pretty.
talking about the 7-0 until let's watch this first. 'Cause I mean, and I know it seems like we keep bringing it up, but dude, it's getting so rampant. It needs to be talked about more, in a more reasonable light. I know a lot of people defend it, and they need to see why they shouldn't be defending it. I guess people need to see
Right.
why it might not be a good idea to just go out and keep trying these things. Like, don't even touch the things. Leave them alone.
Yeah.
Say no to 7-0.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm like a
Yeah.
picket sign. Like,
Yeah.
Gotta be on the side of our Kratom Gals boss.
yes.
They know the 7-0.
That was like a genius slogan, Misty.
I like it.
Thanks to my marijuana.
Your legal marijuana
Yeah.
that some of us don't get in our states. So sad. All right, this Bloomberg, this came out. Here's what's crazy. Earlier this week, 3 documentaries about kratom came out. Isn't that just weird? Like all at the same time.
It seems like that always
That is
happens.
weird.
It's always, it doesn't, it doesn't just have
kind of
one little thing
weird,
come
I
out.
think.
It's like pairs or triples, and the next thing you know, you start seeing new stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. So this is just this. I'm calling it a documentary because they actually do call it a documentary on the Bloomberg site, but it's a 28 minutes. These are longer form video documentaries about kratom. So the one we're going to watch today is 28 minutes. I'm sure we're going to stop a lot to talk about it.
I'm going to bathroom break.
Yeah, what we do about, because you know what? I need a bathroom break and I want to get me a Dr. Pepper. Why not? And let's play our bathroom break song then. Why don't we do that? Because if you haven't been here lately, we came up with a bathroom song. It gives us like almost 4 minutes to go to the
It's not puke on the floor. It's
three
definitely not puke
3
on
minutes and 45 seconds. Last time we played this, I almost did not make it back to the desk in time to turn it off. So yeah, we're gonna watch this. Y'all gonna watch this real quick while we take a quick break, and let me just make sure I have it queued up. Enjoy this song, and then we'll be back to watch Bloomberg. See you in a sec.
Sorry. Just huge packs.
5'5" and I think that's slick. On TikTok live, chat, I'm just trying to survive. I'm the Lulu thinking I'm Tatum. Well, Mariah, where's my Kratom? Honey, I'm on, popping wheelies and all. I told ya, it's your fault. Guy now. Yeah, come on, this ain't no Cinnabon. But I got beef, and the beef, you're trying to finna beef. Mariah, where is my Kratom? This is all your fault. I blame her, no brainer. I ate centipede from a container. So I lost my apartment, and it's all Chat's fault, officer. I am a TikTok influencer. Chat, I have a certificate. Let me show you it's not a fluke. That on the carpet, no, that's not puke. Chat, it's Bex, just a little guy, no, that's a flex. Now that's not a guy, no, that's a flex. Kratom. Guys, it's just a little bit of guy.
Just huge packs.
Guy know. I just need moderators, bro. It's guy know. Not much, just a little bit of guy know. Not much, just a little bit of guy know. And me, it's Nick. I'm 5'5" and I think that's slick. On TikTok live chat, I'm just trying to survive. I'm the Lulu thinking I'm Tatum. Wait, it's guy no. One of Lulu thinking I'm Tatum. Wait up, well, Mariah, where's my Kratom? Wanna be your Nick? I'll pay I'm Tatum. Wanna be your mod? I've been really Zinola. I told ya, chat, it's your fault. Guy know. Chat, come on, this ain't no Cinnabon. But I got beef, and the beef, chat trying to fit a beef. Mariah, where is my Kratom? This is all your fault. I'm lame, no brainer, no brainer. I'm playing, where's my Kratom? Kratom. Wanna be on, all the wheelies and Nola. I told ya, it's your fault. Guy know. Chat, come on, this ain't no Cinnabon. But I got beef, and a beef, chat trying to finna beef. Mariah, where's my Kratom? This is all your fault. I blame her, no brainer. I eat centipede from a container. So I lost my apartment and it's all Chat's fault. Officer, I am a TikTok influencer. Chat, I have a certificate. Let me show you it's not a fluke. That on the carpet, no, that's not puke. Chat, it's packs, just a little guy, no, as I flex. Not that, they're no brainer. I eat centipede from a container. Kratom. I'm dropping, my legs in Nola. I am a TikTok influencer. Chat, I have a certificate. Let me show you it's not a fluke. That on the carpet, no, that's not puke. Chat, it's Bex, just a little guy, no, as I flex. No, that's no guy, no, that's a flex. Kratom. I've been dropping my legs in Nola.
I'm back here.
Dropping my legs in Nola. Guys in a TikTok influencer. And no, that's not pure.
I never
cool.
heard of that. That is such a fun video. And it's the perfect amount of time to like go run to the restroom real quick. So
I was dancing on my way back from the back.
Yeah, I love his little
It
dances.
is.
it all works. Craig wants to know, who is that guy? I don't even know who that is.
Mhm.
Don't know. I mean, I saw him on TikTok. I went to go find him on TikTok, but it's like a parody.
Yeah, it's a video that we saw on YouTube. I just assumed it was the guy, but Misty kind of investigated because she's so good at that. And yeah, it just looks like a parody from some influencer guy. So somebody made it. It's just funny as heck. So we like playing it for y'all.
It is.
I like just jamming to it. It's a jamming song. All right. Look at that kitty. Oh, and I got
Dude,
my
that
my
reminds me of
mini.
seeing the kitchen vendors video.
Oh, don't put that picture in my head. Go ahead and tell everybody describe this picture that we all.
Max was talking about how someone was is a kitchen vendor, and they were trying to defend how their products are safe and all that shit. And all of a sudden, the cat comes walking across the screen. Like, you sitting there trying to defend your products is safe, but you got cat hair, cat piss, cat poop.
Kitty Kruger's a Kratom kitty.
Oh, look at that face.
I know.
He was looking right at the camera too. That
He
was good.
was.
Oh,
Such a cutie. And then what about the picture with the baby on the cooler in,
Oh,
their,
hell no.
in their
Hell
Kratom
no.
kitchen, vendor Kratom kitchen? Cannot get
There was
that
a baby. There was a baby sitting on
in diapers. All they
in
had on
In a
was diapers.
very wet.
Nothing but diapers. A
Very
diaper.
wet, yep, very wet diaper.
Wow.
And the kitchen was just nasty as shit. And this vendor is all over Reddit too.
Oh yeah,
Y'all
I
need to
could.
That's just
investigate who you
scary
buy
as
from.
hell.
Like people will sit there and say that they
the
got
complete
safe products.
opposite from what we've seen in the other documentaries.
Yep.
Right. Right. So speaking of documentary, we're going to watch the Bloomberg together, 28 minutes long. This is on their YouTube channel called Bloomberg Originals. They have over 4 million subscribers on this YouTube. And this video came out on the 10th, which was what, Tuesday. It already has 280,000 views. It's a lot. And over
Y'all
1,000 comments.
Yeah, y'all need
Over
to go drop your
1,000 comments.
testimonies.
It's a lot of positive comments, which I'm very pleased. And crazy as this sounds, my Kratom Stories podcast YouTube, where I'm broadcasting right now, I commented. I did a long comment on there. It's not them. I think it's YouTube because it has the word Kratom in the title in my account name. And this has happened before where I'll want to use that account to do a comment on a video, Kratom related video. And I did it multiple times. It just never showed. But I go, do something from my Madalyn Sklar account, pops right in a half a second. So
Did you go redrop it?
I think it's a Google thing because Google owns YouTube. I mean, it's just how weird with my Gmail, only because it has the word Kratom in it, have I run into major issues that otherwise I don't.
Did you go drop it again?
I did one as my Madalyn Sklar.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Just so y'all
Twinkle.
know, I was interviewed for a Bloomberg documentary. I didn't know it would have been this one, or maybe
It was
there might be a
probably
next
for
one.
this one. It was probably for this one. Yeah, it was when we were in DC back in December, and yeah, the guy walked up to you because we were standing in the back there talking, and then the guy walked up to you and wanted to interview you, and I guess because it was too positive of an interview, right? Because this news report we're gonna watch, nothing really that positive. Twinkle's here. Hey, Twinkle, good to see you.
Hey, Carrie.
Hey, Twinkle.
Oh, Carrie. Okay, I didn't. Carrie, when I showed your comment, I didn't even.
She said hi too.
I was just pulling up comments. That was during that video with the guy. Hey, Carrie.
Oh, I know who she's talking about.
All right. So this video has gotten a lot of attention. So y'all comment. Those that are watching live, comment away. I'm sure y'all let me know when you want me to stop. I'm sure it's going to be periodic. We're only an hour into our Kratom Gals live stream. I'm sure this is going to take us a good long while to go through. So brace yourself for the growing toll of America's booming Kratom industry. That's the title.
It's just hard to think he walked here and now he's gone. That's the hardest part for me.
Well, I'm wearing my brother's hat as a nod to him. When I come down here, I feel like part of him is within all of this wildness. And it just gives me peace.
I wish he could see this. Be here.
Yeah, that's where you should be.
You should be.
On April 5th, 2022, Jordan McKibben of Kalama, Washington, collapsed in his bathroom. His nephew called Jordan's mother when he found him unconscious on the floor.
We went into the emergency room. The doctor came in and talked to us, and he told us that Jordan had died. And I couldn't figure out why. The actual cause of his death was Kratom.
When compared to the opioid epidemic, Kratom's death toll is small. But over the last decade, it has exploded in popularity. As early as 2020, 1.7 million people were estimated to have used Kratom.
Kratom, are you familiar with this?
I'm on it right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I took 6 of them.
Me
See what
too.
happens.
I'm making this video about Kratom and the ultimate high that you can achieve. I got a little surprise for you. I'm at that right now.
For some, it's a lifesaver.
I am an alcoholic, and in the last year and a half, I haven't drank alcohol, and it's all due to Kratom.
For others, a life ruiner.
I went from being on top of the world, 5 months, newly sober alcoholic, to spending the next 2 years like in a complete and utter hell.
And for the most unlucky, it's taken the life of a loved one.
I had watched my son grow, and I wanted him to have the life and the dreams that he wanted. And all of a sudden, it just felt like it was all taken away for nothing because he didn't know.
It's also over a $1 billion industry that's growing and changing so fast that neither consumers nor regulators can keep up.
These extracts and concentrates are totally changing the game and the safety around the market.
We're seeing this blow up in an area that's completely unregulated. That, in my mind, is more similar to illicit drug trade. The genie's out of the bottle, and it's going to be really hard to rein this back in.
Drug my ass.
This is pretty much the standard of what we see coming into the United States now. This is just the leaf flesh material. And then we will start to process those powders by extraction.
This is Christopher McCurdy, one of the foremost experts on the efficacy and potential risks of Kratom in America.
I've always been interested in sort of the intersection of pain treatment and where substance abuse starts to take place. At first, we were interested in looking at Kratom as a new class of painkillers, but they're very weak compared to opioids, which are still the gold standard for painkillers.
Derived from the leaves of the Mitragyna speciosa tree, there are around 50 different alkaloids found in Kratom, but 2 of them, mitragynine and 7-hydroxymitragynine, stand out as the primary psychoactive compounds that affect the nervous system.
We are doing research to evaluate the potential that mitragynine may have to treat pain and its potential for treating opioid addiction.
We're in this opioid crisis. We need medications that can help people get off of the hardcore opioids. Pure mitragynine by itself has been shown to be helpful in treating opioid addiction. And we turned our focus in that direction.
And it is important and urgent because people are already using the Kratom. So to document whether it has a positive or a negative effect is crucial.
While Kratom is relatively new in America and Europe, it's been around for centuries in Southeast Asia, with relatively few problems.
Kalau tanaman kratom itu udah lama di Kabupaten Kapuas Hulu, mungkin dari zaman nenek moyang udah ada. Karena tanaman kratom itu dia sangat tumbuh bagus dan subur di tepi-tepi.
Ini di zamannya nenek moyang kita, memang kratom ini digunakan untuk obat-obatan ringan. Misalnya panas badan, kemudian ada gatal-gatal, kemudian bisa dijadikan untuk minum. Daunnya dipetik, 3-4 lembar dipetik, kemudian direbus, airnya diminum. Ketika kita minum, bangun paginya udah segar. atau 2014 gitu, ini mulai dilirik oleh para sahabat-sahabat kita yang ada di luar tuh. Jadi datanglah ke Kalimantan Barat mencari ini. Tumbuhan kratom ini lalu dibudidayakan.
Mulai itu alhamdulillah ditemukannya tanaman kratom bisa menjadi ya tumpuan keluarga ya. Jadi kalau menurut saya ya hampir setengah Kapuasulu ini menggantung kehidupannya di kratom.
Pada pagi hari ini kami berada di sebuah atau di sebidang kebun miliknya Bu Ati. Ini memiliki perkebunan kratom cukup luas, yang insya Allah sebentar lagi mereka ini akan memanen.
Kami semenjak tahun 2014, semenjak ada pembelinya daun kratom, kami termotivasi dengan ada kratom. Sebelum ini kami jadi petani karet. Tapi petani karet semakin hari tidak mencukupi kebutuhan kami. Maka Ibu putar haluan dengan adanya berita kratom, Ibu tanam. Maka ini daun harapan, daun kehidupan kami masyarakat Kapuasulu, khususnya di pesisir pantai Kapuas.
Itu semenjak masuknya COVID di Indonesia, ibaratnya 300 kali lipat dari sebelumnya.
Kalau 2021 Ibu sekitar 50 ton. 2022 udah menambah lagi sekitar 35 ton. Dari 2022-2023 permintaan Edo sampai ratusan ton dengan itu.
Figures from the Indonesian government show 4,500 metric tons of kratom, around 10 million pounds, are exported to America every month.
Wow!
Holy shit. Peningkatannya sangat luar biasa hingga saat ini. Kratom ini sudah menjadi produk turunan. Mereka sudah membuatkan dari minuman soda, gummy, terus mereka jadikan kayak shoot.
Just leave it to good old American capitalism to go from an ancient Southeast Asian tea used by farmers to this.
This show is huge for Kratom now. Kratom has become a main staple of Champs.
We just got into edibles and some drinks and things like that. Jelly 70H Botanicals is our newest line of Kratom gummies.
I'm with this company, Hydroxy. We're a single alkaloid Kratom extract company. And we're going to be the strongest, most purest on the market right now.
We're the first extract enhanced powder and capsule on the market.
We want it to be a soccer mom brand that, just to get your energy in the morning instead of something else. You know what I mean?
20 years ago, the only products that were available were leaf materials. If you want to get this euphoric feeling or you want to chase this high, that's very difficult to attain with leaf material. The only way to do that is take more and more and more of the material, which makes it more and more and more dangerous every time.
Yep.
The poison is in the dose.
Yep.
We're seeing liquid energy type shots. We're seeing concentrated products on an almost seemingly weekly basis. There's a stronger one introduced into the marketplace.
There's nothing that's universal across the board from vendor to vendor.
Like whenever it says 2, I go 4.
When you get into the range of 8 to 10 pills, it's like, oh, this will f you up.
But, we're all learning together, I guess. There's lots of new shots coming out.
And the reality of it is that we make these concentrations and we make these extracts because it's the demand for the industry. So it is what it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Because he wants to make money.
Yeah.
Right. There was
This
not a
one
demand.
says
There's not a
it
demand if they're
contains
not.
9.
Yeah,
The
let's
only
stop
reason
there.
there's a demand is because they're handing them out, in addition to other things they're selling at the store. Here, try this along with it.
They're creating
And what-
the demand.
Exactly.
100%. It's exactly what they're doing. There wasn't a demand
I'm not
there
gonna
for any
lie
of
about
this.
it.
There was
No,
no demand.
not
They
at all.
created the demand by getting all these people using that. They targeted, they marketed to people they knew would be vulnerable. to something like this so they can capitalize on it. It's terrible.
I mean, think about some of the shit they put in there, in the like the TNF and stuff like that, I mean, just to get that, just to create that demand, adding a bunch of shit, I mean, and some of these, again, going back to the 7-OH, there's no telling what could be in those things.
Well, Misty, talk to us about Champs, because they were showing the Champs show. You've been multiple times along with the AKA there. How many different products do you think were just handed to you while you were there in Vegas?
I got bags and bags and bags full of products. Do I take them? No. I just got them from memorabilia. But there was over 30 booths there that were different 7-OH companies.
Oh my God.
Promoting the
That's
7-OH
insane.
shit. And the reason for these Champ shows is for people that are in the business to buy product for smoke shops. So they're there to hand out these samples and all that shit for that. Which is why we're seeing an uptick in smoke shops and now gas stations carrying these 7-OH tablets, which is literally a fucking drug. It's a literal full agonist opioid now. If it's even 7-OH in it.
Right. It's not whole leaf kratom powder, that's for sure.
Nope.
They've taken mitragynine and
It's
synthesized
so
it.
far away from regular whole leaf powder that it's it's just on another completely opposite fucking end of the spectrum.
It's like Tylenol and Dilaudid.
Yeah. And this market is so competitive. It's a cockfight on see who's gonna have the most purest, the most strongest next.
Well,
7-0 is a
7-0
full
is not a
agonist.
partial. Yeah, it's a full. It's not a partial.
Once it's isolated and synthesized, it becomes a full agonist opioid.
Yep.
In the leaf itself, it's a very minuscule amount in the leaf itself. That is still a partial agonist.
Like
in
0.02.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're synthesizing it to increase it.
Yeah, they're isolating it, synthesizing it, and amplifying it. That's what they're doing. And they're trying to put it under the guise of it being a kratom alkaloid.
Yeah.
It's fake.
Yeah.
Fake ass shit.
It's like comparing
the
a light
strongest
beer.
kratom alkaloid and shit like that on the marketing. It's like, dude.
Yeah, it's all about the marketing is what they're doing. But it's like comparing a light beer to Everclear.
Yeah. Like McCurdy said.
Yeah.
So Craig, it's concentrated 7-OH extract. It's a problem for sure. And in our powdered leaf, we're not having the issues that you can see where the direction of this documentary is going.
Yeah.
This is just kind of the tip of the iceberg. Let's keep watching because it's quite interesting.
Doses, it's just unreasonable to think that someone would open this up and take only 9 equal sips.
Yep.
Wow.
That's because those companies know what they're doing. They know.
Yeah, there's no dropper, nothing like that.
How can you take 9 sips out of that?
Yeah.
How do you know what the equal, measured dose? They don't have it measured for you.
Nope.
And it doesn't even tell you like 1 capful or something like that, or have a dropper.
That's true.
Because they just want you to drink that whole thing, 9 doses, whatever doses it wants.
Do people even read the directions at all?
No.
Right.
No. I've talked to multiple people, through the podcast, through the Kratom Stories podcast that have used extracts. Every one of them have said, no, they didn't read they didn't even realize there were more than 1 serving. They should either not be allowed to have these be more than 1 serving each, or have a way with a dropper or something for the consumer to know how to measure it and make it very clear, not in tiny letters that nobody can read.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate the shots. Yeah. I don't like the extract shots.
No, same.
Yeah. All right, let's keep watching.
Extracts and concentrates are totally changing the game and the safety around the market.
MIT 45. I've been taking it for so long now. My tolerance is built up. Like I have to take the whole bottle for me to feel anything.
Brag
which
about
is
that
also
shit,
not a good thing.
That's what we've linked to saying is more like legal morphine, and it truly is.
I mean, that could be something that they may break right back into your establishment for. You know what I mean? Powder kratom, they wouldn't be breaking in for. This sounds like they would.
They're spending thousands of dollars a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're expensive.
That's not kratom behavior.
No, it is
No,
absolutely
not at all.
not.
It's creating addiction.
Yep.
I was the type of drinker that morning, noon, night, I was drinking. My problem was I never stopped. And then there would be pills on top of that. That's how I used to look. This is on a good day, but you can see the weight in my face.
That bloated.
From drinking a lot.
Yep.
That's how it was. I was not the happiest, you can see. I knew I needed to clean things up. It wasn't until I was 40. That's when I found the Feel Freeze, and I would have one of those. I'd be good for like 4 hours. I wouldn't think about drinking alcohol. I wouldn't think about, picking up pills or anything like that. And it was just a godsend for me.
Chris isn't alone.
I just came up with an idea to essentially stop taking painkillers, use kratom for a couple days as like a step stool.
In my head, I needed that one drug that I would use when I got overwhelmed and I couldn't deal with my emotions. And so it just happened to be kratom.
So some people say that kratom is helping them, but for a lot of others, they feel misled.
When I first heard about kratom, I was listening to a podcast.
If you have not heard of this breakthrough product from Botanic Tonics called the Feel Free Shot, then this one's going to blow your mind.
And this isn't an isolated incident on podcasts.
You introduced me to something called Feel Free, which is just an over-the-counter supplement, which I thought was like an energy drink or something like that. And it turns out it just gets you high.
Those drinks, those put you in a nice place.
It's
a plant.
I feel like I was on another planet. Those are not for a faint of heart. Can you buy it at a regular store? You can buy it at 7-Eleven.
At that time in my life, I had been sober for 4 months. I was on top of the flippin' world. I think this is before I got sober, but that's the amount of weight that I had on my body. I was listening to that podcast and they had mentioned Feel Free. And I found out that the owner of the company was an alcoholic and said it had basically saved his life.
Spent about 2 years experimenting on myself till I found the feeling that I was looking for.
Feel Free is the main product sold by the company Botanic Tonics, which markets Feel Free on its website as a wellness tonic and health alcohol alternative.
There was something very familiar about the way that I felt after I drank it. I felt like I was on drugs. That's how I felt. I was addicted from the first bottle because I knew that there was something wrong with this. But by that time, it was too late. So
that's not
I remember
from the first bottle.
From the first bottle, I hear that a lot. I see that a lot. From the first bottle, that is not fucking kratom.
Right.
Yeah. Well, as an addict too, I mean, if you're serious about staying sober and it's literally the very first bottle, put that shit down. I mean, it's just as abundant as alcohol is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Alcohol is everywhere. That I just don't understand how people try and flip the switch and blame the companies and I mean the marketing and stuff behind Feel Free was ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Well, look how pretty that bottle is. I mean, who wouldn't want that? Look how pretty. It's like, wow, that's a nice looking product.
Yeah. And dudes all over, podcasts and stuff. Well, I was an alcoholic and this is my special formulated to make you feel like a normal, I mean,
but
hell,
like I said, it's a kratom extract and a kava extract. They're not in its natural forms.
Right.
Kratom holy powder kratom doesn't have you craving and crawling back.
Well,
to
it doesn't make you euphoric
Not at all.
either. Like it doesn't do any of the things that we just heard all those people talk about with this product.
I'm curious to know if there was ever any other type of ingredients when it first came out too.
We
You know what I
don't
mean?
know.
That's what I'm saying.
And it makes you wonder when that girl says that she got hooked up from the very first one.
Right. Because I mean, I'll put kratom and kava together.
What else
It's like
is in there?
Yeah, it's just
it makes you wonder, like, you know, what all was going on with that company. All right, let's keep watching. This is so interesting.
We're taking up to 10 bottles in one day.
Oh my God, that's expensive.
This is how I found that subreddit, Quitting Kratom. When I got in there and I just saw, I mean, it was so many people. And now they're sick, and they can't get off of it. And, you know, every single day, a new person comes in the Quitting Feel Free subreddit. And I'm not joking, exact same story as me. Exactly the same to a T.
Today, I want
Well, you know
I
what?
wonder if she bitched about alcohol like this. You know, what I mean, it's the same
Right.
premise. Like, I'm just
Right.
saying.
But what about, we have way more people that come and share the opposite on social media with us, how Kratom has changed their lives. That thank God they found this plant that they consume responsibly, this whole leaf powder.
Right.
You know,
Maybe that's why I wasn't included in the documentary, because I wasn't taking extracts.
Yeah.
Oh, that could very well
Right.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, this documentary.
I wanted to talk about Feel Free.
Stay away from those. All right.
They can be very addictive.
Me trying to get off it for the first time cold turkey was like one of the scariest days of my life.
I'm angry. You know, I'm angry because I feel like I've been tricked. I feel like I've been duped. And there's been stuff going on in lawsuits and stuff. And I feel like they knew what they were doing.
It's just the beginning of feeling like
She's talking about a class action lawsuit filed against 7-Eleven and Botanic Tonics in 2023, where a recovering alcoholic said he was hospitalized after drinking 10 feel-free tonics a day. The suit alleges that Botanic Tonics failed to disclose in its marketing materials that the drink's main ingredient is not kava, but kratom.
This was a social experiment.
They just put a sticker on the fucking
But
bottle.
Botanic Tonics is not the only defendant in lawsuits. Large kratom companies like OPMS have been sued by people who have claimed that they overdosed on kratom products.
Along with
in July, the FDA warned consumers not to ingest OPMS black liquid, saying it's been linked to serious adverse health effects, including death. OPMS didn't respond to a request for comment. The company has sought to dismiss lawsuits filed against it and has said it will challenge the FDA warning. CDC data indicates that kratom-involved overdoses in the U.S. have jumped from 152 in a 1.5-year period ending in 2017 to at least 4,100 deaths between 2020 and 2022.
And that's just because they had kratom in their system, period. That's
Kratom
not a
has
kratom
escaped
overdose.
being labeled a controlled substance because overdoses tend to involve other drugs. Still, the DEA has listed it as a drug and chemical of concern. This is Matt Lowe, the executive director of the Global Kratom Coalition, an industry trade group supported by these companies. J.W. Ross of Botanic Tonics serves as chairman of the board.
So I think the rub doesn't sit in prohibition again. It sits in appropriately regulating it.
Kratom industry lobbyists have successfully fought attempts to tighten restrictions on the drug a number of times in the last few years.
Every kratom product, including 7-OH products, should have a warning to consumers that these products can be habit-forming. You can pick up a bottle of cough syrup and you can kill yourself with it. So responsible use with good labeling on all products is a key part of the safety factor.
There is a bit of an arms race that's happening in the industry at the moment. Everyone's just going, well, how do I make the strongest product, the strongest product, the strongest product?
What that means sometimes, to make a product more appealing, it creates a greater sense of well-being. And the greater it makes you feel good, the more you're going to want it. And that's at the essence of how drugs can start to produce addiction.
And one of the most addictive alkaloids in kratom, 7-hydroxymetragenine, or 7-OH, is flooding the market.
We've learned that mitragynine has this unique pharmacology. It doesn't activate opioid receptors fully. Its metabolite, 7-hydroxy, does.
Chemically, metragenine is the most abundant alkaloid in kratom. 7-hydroxymetragenine, while sharing a similar structure, has crucial differences. 7-OH features an additional oxygen atom binded to a hydrogen atom at the 7th position of the molecule, which has a profound impact on its pharmacological profile.
It'll turn you into a hoe.
It enhances 7-hydroxymetragenine's binding affinity to opioid receptors in the brain, making it significantly more potent and addictive than metragenine alone.
We've called it illegal morphine because it is actually only interacting with opioid receptors, and it's activating them very strongly. We got rats addicted to morphine, and we simply took away their morphine and replaced it with mitragynine. They actually didn't have any interest in administering mitragynine to themselves. However, we did the same thing with 7-hydroxy, and it, boom, absolutely substituted for morphine. So it's a much more potent compound than morphine, probably not as potent as fentanyl, but really showed the abuse potential of 7-hydroxy. And it's incredibly frightening.
But of course, people have said, well, this is interesting. You've got this very strong compound that's in kratom. How do we find a way to synthesize it, to isolate it, and turn it into a product?
My name is Greg Daly. I am the CFO of 7-Ohms, which is a 7-hydroxy product in the kratom industry. We have launched a war against fentanyl and other harmful things that are killing people we love. Today, our product is one of the only pure 7-hydroxy products on the market,
They would shit
and pretty quickly took off.
Can you pause
If you
it?
look at most of the drink
Yeah, that's the one we've shown multiple times on here.
He's a tech analyst, and he's not even a kratom consumer, but they would shit their pants if they knew how the people at their booth sold us the kratom, the 7-OH tablets. It will blast you to the moon.
Can you share with us?
It will make you feel so euphoric, but make sure you take it while you're at home and sitting on the couch, because you're going to catch that nod. It's insane. And they're doing this shit under the guise of, we're tired of losing friends and family to the fentanyl epidemic. Bull fucking shit. You don't give a goddamn fuck about them. You're only in this for money. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's sad that this is just a money grab. But look, I mean, their packaging with that other one that, looks like perks.
Yep.
Let's keep watching.
and pretty quickly took off. If you look at most of the drink shots on the market today, most of them taste really bad because since they're not using 7-hydroxy, they have to put a lot more material in there. But as soon as customers started using this, they all immediately were switching.
Others in the kratom industry are not thrilled with the rise of 7-hydroxy products.
So I feel like it's a kind of a punch in the gut.
I feel like it's a really bad look on the industry.
And let's be honest, it's the heroin feel, and that's what people go for.
This will do just as good as any kind of prescription. This may become a problem.
We have an epidemic happening in the United States of America with opiates right now, and we finally found something that can help people, and we're now flaunting these hardcore drugs in their faces, and I just think that it's a disgusting look, personally.
When other kratom brands talk to me and communicate this idea that 7-OH in general is not good for the industry, my thinking is if they had the scientific ability to safely and at scale create 7-OH, they would be doing it.
Whatever. That's
Do
so
you
stupid.
believe that? I mean,
That's so fucking high and mighty, dude.
That's a ridiculous comment.
You
Go ahead,
know,
Misty.
that company right there is ran, and I'm not racist at all, but they're ran by Indians. It's like the Silk Road came to America. when they blasted this shit onto the market. And no, he doesn't consume his products. He said he only consumed a couple of them for research purposes.
Yeah.
He's a tech analyst.
Money grab. It said he was a CFO, chief financial officer.
Yeah.
You know what? When I was
Yeah.
watching that video, when I came across it this week, they just kept pulling in video clips from all over YouTube. We've seen a lot of those videos, clips they've shown. And like partway through it, I'm like, oh my God, is there going to be a clip of us, the Kratom Gals? Because we've been so vocal about this stuff. We never do share this documentary, but I was like, just by watching this, I'm like, because y'all have seen, like, look at all the people they've been showing. Like, you know, half of them are people we've played here on the show.
Yeah.
At least half of them.
It's always like the ones that are like, even the names of the stuff, but it's like, you know, you've got these people and they're like, man, this is bad news, bro. This is going to be real bad. But I tell you what, I'm going to do this YouTube video on it and tell you about how I take 10 a day. But, you know, and it's like, I don't know. It's like, really? I don't know.
Wow.
And then you got the names of them, you know, being so similar to, you know, other drugs. And it's like, then they tell you not to do it. That's like clearly telling, you know, targeted to the addict community.
Yeah,
clearly.
It's why I was apprehensive. It's why I was apprehensive of showing that part with the little rat, you know, all in withdrawal and shit, you know. I was really apprehensive on doing that. Even when I was at the Champ show, you know, I was like, man, maybe I should warn the public about this. But then at that time, I was like, no, because it makes it look like I'm advertising for them. It's like, said, that reverse marketing shit.
Yeah.
But when I saw this documentary and I wanted to clip that part with the rat, you know, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah. You've been having an inner struggle for a minute about the whole 7-OH and talking about it. But like I said, I mean, you know,
It's
can't help what other people
bringing
do.
awareness. It's to bring that awareness, which I think is so important. I totally understand, Misty. And you've got a very large community on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also it's like on one hand, I get that. The other hand, it's like, but not everybody knows about this. And at least, like the people that are here in the comments are like, wow, like I can see in these comments are like, they're glad they're learning about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you've always been so good about, you know, conveying messages and, you know, I mean, I just think it's something that everybody should know about. I mean, there's still every day, at least once a day, I see somebody going, what is 7-0?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's still people who have no idea.
You know, and even in my comment section on that video on my TikTok, you know, it's like people are like, oh, where can I find it?
Yeah.
You know, all this shit. And then you got the people that are consuming the 7-0 tablets that are coming in there telling me I'm wrong, that Dr. McCurdy is wrong. You know,
McCurdy is not wrong. He is one of the leading scientists, experts on
Just
Kratom.
yesterday, somebody called him a paid shill for the FDA.
So ridiculous.
You know, it's like I said before, in my conspiracy theory mind, I be thinking that these 7-OH tablets came onto market via Big Pharma and the FDA.
Yeah.
I agree.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Big ass social experiment.
Wouldn't be surprised.
J.W. Ross's bullshit. Now he's all on this .org under the guise of advocacy when no, the fuck he's not. He's just trying to protect his product, his baby that he created.
Yep. Exactly. All right, let's keep watching this. Anybody that just got here, this is a documentary that came out this week from Bloomberg with their 4 million subscribers on YouTube. And it's been a lot of views, hundreds of thousands of views of this that we're watching. So let's keep going.
Kratom is legal to buy in every state except for 6 and Washington, D.C., meaning that 7-hydroxymetragenine is also fully legal to be sold alongside those Kratom products.
We see these beautiful pictures of these leaves, these green leaves, right?
We were
That
there.
is what's been used in Southeast Asia, Malaysia, Thailand for a very long time. That is not what is.
Misty and I were right in that room.
I was going to say, we can see y'all's heads.
On Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. last December. It was amazing to sit and listen to these experts that are the leading scientists and researchers on Kratom.
It's used in the United States. You see this rainbow of different products with varying concentrations and without any regulation.
How do we maximize benefits and minimize the risk is we need to address the issue of regulation of these products.
You don't get to go into America and sell stuff throughout the country for human consumption until you have established it is scientifically safe to do so.
After I saw the pictures
That's
on
that dude that was in
the
that,
internet that families had
Washington
lost
thing,
their
wasn't it?
children and or their spouse.
And you like one of the attorneys?
He's
Yeah,
one
he
of
was
the
just talking.
he's one of the anti-kratom trial attorneys making big ass money on.
Oh, okay. He
Yeah.
looked just like
I
that other
wanted it
dude.
changed. I wanted the laws changed.
We're not yet ready to even adequately inform consumers about those dangers. So buyer beware assumes that there's enough information so that the buyer knows what they need to be aware of.
And the longer Kratom goes without regulation, the more stories can end up like this.
Jordan was not a drug user. He was really health conscious.
It's just people lied to him and deceived him, and he took things that he would have never taken had he known. This Kratom takes people's lives.
How?
Regulators have been apprehensive to limit the use of Kratom. Though the first FDA-sponsored study on doses and dangers of Kratom won't come out until 2027, the agency warns against using it.
I felt like, let's see what we can do to help others so this doesn't impact other people's lives.
So I reached out to several lawyers and started the process to see if they would take the case.
My thing is,
It's sort
if
of
that
like
was
the
true,
genie's
they really wanted to help people not go through the same thing. We had this discussion the other day over on X. When you ask for certain things, it shouldn't be frowned upon because you want to know the facts on each of these deaths. Like, if you really, if your loved one passed away and you really want to help other people, help them by giving them the facts. Say
right.
It's
Help
stupid.
us fight for the regulations. Don't
Right.
fight for banning it because you're suffering from grief.
And
Right.
just
Because
label
that
it as
doesn't solve the problem. That just creates a black market. They're
Mhm.
all going to be responsible. They're getting their money from lawsuits, but they're also causing the black market that will affect millions of us in the U.S.
Millions.
who responsibly consume whole leaf powder, which is the majority of those lawsuits and these so-called deaths are extracts and almost always poly drug use or adulterated.
Mhm.
They're not solving anything by creating
This
a black
documentary is not going to show his talk screen.
Right. And I mean, who's to say it's not, a common factor in a lot of these aren't some type of drug interaction, isn't some type of underlying condition,
market. Right.
there's some common factor somewhere and it's not kratom. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but it's like, you can't get down behind the science of things without doing some research, and you can't do research without getting the facts on stuff.
And don't
There's
get
the-
mad at us for asking for
Yeah.
asking for the facts.
Right.
Us as advocates can go through it. Like what we saw with this whole CJ's
Yeah.
toxicology report in New Jersey. He had a multitude of different substances in his system, but the mom is now asking for a ban in the state of New Jersey based on the coroner telling her it was kratom that killed her son. But he had other shit in his system that, one, shouldn't have been mixed together, and two, that caused respiratory depression.
Right.
Right.
Which
And it
kratom
just
alone
got
does
labeled
not.
as a kratom death because it was either, in his system or found at the scene. It's like, that's not, it's just ridiculous. How does that, I don't know.
Well, and we
And
know
because-
that's been done because there's that grieving mom in Ohio we've heard about
Mhm.
where they saw a package of kratom. So the medical examiner said it's a kratom death, whereas the mother said no, it was not
Yeah,
because of just kratom.
Right.
exactly.
And she had to go file a lawsuit
Mm-hmm.
to get them to undo that because she knows it was not kratom alone. And can you imagine that, they're just medical examiner's going to put it down because they feel like it.
hmm
Because
And they can't
found it
even
on
do the
scene.
testing. Like they can't even go back
They're
and do
too
the
well. They're
testing.
too lazy to go properly test or do their job.
And like now, these synthetic ass shits 708 tablets are going mainstream, and they're flooding the market. The coroners only test for mitragynine. How do we not know that these previous deaths weren't just the free samples of the 708 tablets?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's so many factors that could, and that's what blows my mind. Is like, this is someone's death. It should be treated. It should be treated importantly. Each and
Yes,
every person's,
of course.
life should be important. It shouldn't be about just getting it done as soon as you can. Everybody should have their own time in the coroner's office, and be, examined properly.
Yeah, it's like, these coroners, they aren't, and we've heard it from Matt saying that these coroners and medical examiners are underfunded.
Yeah.
And just because kratom is found on the counter, the coroner's going to be like, oh, okay, well, that's got to be the cause because I can't find anything else wrong.
And they said that, every person that we saw come through here with this in their system, that, we were going to label it as this,
Yep.
Right.
It's outrageous. All right, let's keep
And
watching.
even the people that could be flip-flopping, trying to quit, but just not there yet. They took kratom one day and the fentanyl the next day, and that's what actually did it. But
exactly.
Yeah.
I had this conversation with the person on my TikTok last night because that video I put up about how I used to be when refill day came. He was talking about, well, that's going to be me tomorrow when I get my perk 10s. And then he takes red kratom after he takes his 1 to 2 perk 10s. And I was trying to warn him. I'm like, you are playing with fire. Like, I am trying to help you look out for you. Why are you mixing the two? I'm like, kratom is either going to take the play, there's not going to be any room for kratom to go in there and do its magic if you got the perks in your system, or kratom is going to knock those perks off of your opioid receptors.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, I don't understand that. Like, commit. Pick one or the other. Stop flip-flopping back and forth. This is why we are fighting the way that we do. This is why we have to advocate. Because someone either ran out of their perks and they start taking kratom because they don't want to be in withdrawal. But then once they get a hookup, they start taking their perks again, but they still have kratom in their system,
Right.
It's like, oh.
All right, let's keep watching the documentary. Anybody that just got here, we're watching the Bloomberg 28-minute video that came out, kratom documentary this week.
Out of the bottle, and it's hard to put it back in.
He stole that from Dr. McCurdy, y'all.
Yep.
Our firm, MCT Law, has now established 2 judgments, the only judgments in the country so far, against kratom companies for selling these products.
2 wrongful death cases that MCT Law is taking on both happened in Cowlitz County, Washington. They won one of the cases involving the death of Patrick Coyne with an award of $2.5 million and are currently in litigation over the death of Jordan McKibbin.
Now, we've got 10 cases across the country active right now, wrongful death cases. And, while our clients in these cases were not addicts, it is true that this industry is preying upon those who are already suffering from addiction.
Then how did it save me? Why am I the anomaly, or whatever that word is?
Yeah.
How did kratom, whole leaf powder, how did that save me from 11 years of active addiction?
Right.
Like I said, my story must have been too positive for this documentary.
I mean, and just because they weren't addicts still does not mean they didn't have something else. Drug interaction, underlying condition. Like, again, it's.
That Patrick Cajon dude was not a healthy individual.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going. We're getting there. We're almost done with this. Okay, like 3 more minutes.
Without clear laws regulating kratom, both sides of the debate continue to point fingers.
To hear one voice out there saying that it's impossible to overdose.
We don't want any more lies, like there's deaths from kratom.
And then to say that it's only harmful and it will kill you. And the reality is obviously in the middle. What we want to do as scientists in this space, the ones who are studying it, is we take the lead in developing what we feel are the appropriate packaging, labeling, based on the science that we know right now, and that's ever changing.
This is a product that deserves additional study and research, and maybe even a fast track if it looks like it's superior to other treatment methods for those struggling with opiates. By all means, the research should continue to flood into the study of this product so that it can be dealt with under medical supervision.
If we're going to have extracts, they should be very clearly defined in what the constituents are that are in them, and they should be capped at a percentage of alkaloids or a milligram level of alkaloids that we feel safe about.
It's a strong drug.
Not
it should not just be sold
not a drug
over the counter with no warnings on it. Jordan was a huge part of our family. Then he was just gone. I don't want another mom to go through that.
I don't either.
Exactly.
And I don't want another mom to go through what we went through losing my brother, my brother-in-law, And it wasn't Kratom, it was other things.
Yeah. God dang. Like, dude,
There you
that's
go.
fucking into that shit, bro.
I've never, towards the end there, and then the thing I mentioned about the adverse reactions, I've been consuming Kratom every day for over 5 years for my chronic pain. Responsible whole leaf Kratom powder. I've never had an adverse event once. My
Me neither.
opioids in pain management for 9 years, I had my share of adverse reactions and issues, and one time even ended up in the ER with gastro issues. Never ever had that happen with Kratom.
My adverse reaction to pain management was active addiction.
Yeah,
but even
it's a pretty big one.
I still don't blame the opioids. I don't, because I was going through a lot of depression and PTSD and anxiety and trauma. All that stuff. I was self-medicating.
Right.
And, I will always say this, that, because back then the overprescribing is what I survived. It was the keys to my addiction bus. The doctors had no problem prescribing me massive amounts.
They didn't even bat an eye, dude. You could just ask for it.
Yeah.
Like, it was no big deal.
Yeah.
Or if you just handed around to it. Oh, let's go ahead and increase that. We
Ask for some samples on the way out.
Yeah.
Crazy.
There was many a times that I went in there.
They always
and
had
was
those
like,
little bottles.
I'd be like, this ain't strong enough. Oh, okay. This is what, here, I'll prescribe you this. Let me know how it goes with our next appointment. See you in 27 days. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't see me out here trying to advocate to get opioids banned because it was a me problem.
Right. And just so that we're clear for anybody watching this that doesn't know, we all come from pain management, the four of us here, and we do advocate for pain patients to have choices and that get opioids if they need it and want it. We're all for choices. And what's so interesting is that when there was that not too long ago where, what was it, the who was doing DEA? Thank you, Misty.
Another one's
taking
up.
comments.
Another one's coming up too.
Because not everybody knows this, but every year the government reduces how much those companies can manufacture opioids. which is primarily for the chronic pain community. That's where the bulk of it is going. It is not like going from pharmacy to the streets. We know people do that and sell them, go into pain management under the guise to get, meds. But they reduce it every year. And, when they do the comments, the public comments, we were all jumping on that bandwagon trying to help the pain community. Like, do y'all know? Like, take a moment and go sign this. You can do it anonymously. Let them know that you oppose them scaling back.
I was still
the amount.
shocked at how low those numbers were.
I know
Yeah.
it was very low how many people in the public commented on that. And here we are, big Kratom advocates, but we understand because we come from pain management.
Yeah.
And
Well,
also
and we
suffer with pain.
also believe in, freedom of choice. Like everybody should have a choice, whether it be addiction, whether it be chronic pain, whatever, whatever route you want to go down to make your life better in whatever way, you should have that option.
Just
And
like
so,
I'm not out here trying to get 7-OH banned. I am not a prohibitionist. Some people have accused me of that in my video. I'm not trying to get it banned. It's made into a fucking opioid.
Don't call it Kratom. I mean,
stop calling it Kratom as strong as alkaloid.
Yeah, they need to just stop that. Like that. Yeah, if people want to take that, fine. I mean, there needs to be some regulation.
They made a legitimate full agonist opioid. Let it go through that 10-year testing that the FDA does.
Yeah. But see, it's all about money. That costs millions and millions of dollars, maybe even $1 billion. Who knows? So a lot.
Well, like
takes a lot of money to do that.
Rumor has it they're making $4 million fucking dollars a week.
Yeah, so they could definitely afford it. They don't want to wait, probably. So, it just seems like the typical money grab. Do it as long as you can, make that money before it gets banned, and then you move on to the next thing. So,
yeah.
I am not someone keeps commenting right now as we speak, and I'm sitting here like, I'm just shaking my fucking head. It's like, if you have a positive experience with 7-OH tablets, then you get the fuck up here and you advocate and teach people how to properly take them motherfuckers. Motherfuckers are out here freebasing that shit like crack cocaine.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy. And Melanie had just commented about, in pain management, they tried to get her to take Suboxone. Glad you found Kratom. It's crazy how many people in pain management right now, their choice has now become Suboxone from the doctors. And that is not a proper medication for pain patients. And it rots your teeth and cause a whole bunch of different health issues. It's insane.
Yeah.
I just can't believe, but what we know in the medical community is things are just not done right. It's just, I don't miss being in pain management. It's been a nice 5 years of not having to deal with that.
Yep, not at all.
It's a freedom on another level. Like, I cannot believe how much time, energy, and effort I wasted. It was hours upon hours at the doctors. It was hours upon hours at the pharmacy.
Oh my God. It was crazy. Like, I just tell people it's like my little part-time job. I mean, the appointment to the doctor, the time spent in the pharmacies, and then how many times like the pharmacy, we can't fill it. And then you go to another pharmacy and another. And
it's so much stress, crazy. Just stress over having to, go through all that all the time. Like because, that's your like lifeline to, get out of fucking bed every day. And so it's like, you're just constantly stressed out. Like, is it going to work out? Is it going to go through?
Right.
It was a constant up and down.
Oh, totally.
Yes.
Totally.
You'd be happy as hell, like right after you got your prescription filled and you didn't have to really worry about it for a minute,
Yeah.
So, since I thought we would go way over today, we're pretty much coming up on our 2-hour mark. I really didn't think we'd have time to watch anything else, but I mean, we've got a little bit of time. Did y'all want to stay on a little bit more, or you want to start wrapping up?
No, we're still good.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I'm still good. Yeah, Kava's cool.
I'm fine. I'm good.
I like kava.
Yeah, we were talking about the whole kratom kava thing earlier, Fletch.
I
We've
do.
been here. We've been here
Yeah.
for a while.
It's like nature's Xanax.
Yeah. I want to play for y'all. So
I
the
got
oth-
a bathroom.
yeah, I could use another bathroom break since I drink
See,
my
you
Dr.
gotta stay
Pepper.
hydrated while you're consuming kratom.
I am.
I
I'm
just
drinking my
got back from
water,
mine.
but I could use another bathroom break. Well, do y'all want to chat, or do you want me to put on the kratom song again?
I could use another break too. So
Okay.
Just put the kratom song on, so I'm not like just sitting here.
You could just jam.
Yeah.
It is a fun song. All right, so we're gonna take a quick restroom break.
I
We
guess I
have
could answer questions though.
well, do you want me to play it or not? It's up to you.
Go ahead and play it.
Okay.
All right, be right back.
Yeah, we'll be back in a minute. So I'm just going to play the song we played on our first bathroom break. It's just it's a fun song about the guy talks about kratom. So yeah, y'all enjoy. We'll be right back. Let me start it.
Sorry. Just huge packs.
It's me, it's Nick. I'm 5'5" and I think that's slick. On TikTok live, chat. I'm just trying to survive. I'm Delulu thinking I'm Tatum. Well, Mariah, where's my kratom? Honey, I'm on. Popping wheelies and all. I told ya, it's your fault. Guy no. Yeah, come on, this ain't no Cinnabon. But I got beef and a beef. You're trying to fin a beef. Mariah, where is my kratom? This is all your fault. I blame her, no brainer. I ate centipede from a container. So I lost my apartment and it's all Jack's fault. Officer, I am a TikTok influencer. Chat, I have a certificate. Let me show you it's not a fluke. That on the carpet, no, that's not puke. Chat is X, just a little guy, no, that's a flex. Now that's not guy, no, that's a flex. Kratom. Guys, it's just a little bit of guy.
Just huge packs.
Guy no. I just need moderators, bro. It's guy no. Not much, just a little bit of guy no. Not much, just a little bit of guy no. And me, it's Nick. I'm 5'5" and I think that's slick. On TikTok live chat, I'm just trying to survive. I'm the Lulu thinking I'm Tatum. Wait, it's guy no. One of the Lulu thinking I'm Tatum. Wait up, well, Mariah, where's my kratom? Kratom. Wanna be your Nick? I'll pay my Tatum. Wanna be your mod? Poppin' wheelies and Nola. I told ya, chat, it's your fault. Guy no. Chat, come on, this ain't no Cinnabon. But I got beef and a beef. Chat, trying to fit a beef. Mariah, where is my kratom? This is all your fault. I'm lame, no brainer, no remark, no brainer. I'm playing, where's my kratom? Kratom. Wanna be mod? All the wheelies and Nola. I told ya, it's your fault. Guy no. Chat, come on, this ain't no Cinnabon. But I got beef and a beef. Chat, trying to fit a beef. Mariah, where's my kratom? This is all your fault. I blame her, no brainer. I eat centipede from a container. So I lost my apartment and it's all Chat's fault. Officer, I am a TikTok influencer. Chat, I have a certificate. Let me show you it's not a fluke. That on the carpet, no, that's not puke. Chat, it's packs, just a little guy, no, as I flex. Not that, they're no brainer. I eat centipede from a container. Kratom. I'm dropping. My legs in Nola. I am a TikTok influencer. Chat, I have a certificate. Let me show you it's not a fluke. That on the carpet, no, that's not puke. Chat, it's packs, just a little guy, no, as I flex. Now that's not guy, no, that's a flex. Kratom. Dropping my legs in Nola. Dropping my legs in Nola. Guy no. Guys in a TikTok influencer. And no, that's not puke.
Dude, Kitty loves this song.
I never get tired of that song. It's so funny.
I know. I saw that.
Like, I don't know. It's a pretty jamming song.
It's totally jamming.
Yeah.
It's like jamming the whole time. All right. We've watched a variety of videos today. I'm trying to queue up the next one. I'm going to play a little clip. So there's 2 other documentaries we don't have time to watch today. We'll probably just do like some special editions of the Kratom
Movie
Gals
night.
play.
Yeah.
Movie night,
Yep.
movie day. I don't know. It seems like
Yeah.
we're kind of picking daytime though. I don't think
Angel,
neither of
I've given my dog Kratom too, by the way. I was reading her comment about her.
But also speaking of bonus Kratom Gals, we are going to broadcast Wednesday next week, the 18th, Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 Central, 6:30 Mountain, 5:30 Pacific. AKA is doing a webinar. We're going to live broadcast it. So mark your calendar.
This should be a good one too. I mean, because there has been a lot. I know they went to Indonesia and stuff, so they haven't had a chance to do one since what, June, July?
It's been a little while because we always live stream them.
But there is a couple of things that I'm curious to hear. You know, Mac always
Yeah.
explains things so well.
Well, it's fun that we come together here, we watch it live, and then we talk about it afterwards. And then y'all can comment and we have a great discussion. So wherever you're watching this right now, just mark your calendar for Wednesday evening. Join us for that. So one of the documentaries we'll play soon. I'm going to play a clip from it. So there's a new one that also came out this week called The Mysteries of Kratom. And by the way, just so you know, later today, I'll get the links to all the videos we've watched today. I'll put it in the Kratom Stories podcast YouTube, the YouTube of this video. I'll have it in the description. So if you want to be able to go, but if you want these other documentaries, just reach out to me, just message me or something, and I'll send you the links because I'll try to remember to link those 2, even though we're only just going to watch a clip of one. But I'm going to play a clip because I'm in this documentary.
I was going to say, hold on. I hear there's a lovely lady named Madalyn that's in that Mysteries of Kratom.
I just want y'all to see.
You got me first.
I just wanted to see y'all. I just find it so funny for those who haven't seen this yet. I know y'all have seen it. Just the dorkiness of the camera following me to go meet with the state, my house rep on Capitol Hill, and because Misty and I were in DC for stuff back in December. It was amazing. The American Kratom Association had put together the congressional briefing on Capitol Hill and other gatherings. We had a lot of fun. And with Bud, Swamp Water Guy, and let's see, Shayna Brown.
Yep. We got to meet a lot of cool
cool people, and hung out with Christopher's Organic Botanicals, Jordan from New Hope. Jordan was taller in person, I thought.
I know.
He's like really tall, and he has such a great presence. Well,
I feel that. I'm like 5'2".
I'm a tall Texas gal. Jordan just has such a, if y'all love Jordan on TikTok, oh my gosh, in person, even he just has this presence to him.
Yeah.
And you can't help but just gravitate to him. He's just a great guy. And
you can play his documentary
Tim
too,
Chacall.
his
Yeah,
trailer.
I was just thinking it as we were talking about this.
Yeah.
Tim Chacall that was with him filming, great guy.
I kept calling him Nick.
I'm so bad about doing that shit. I've never met, if I think you look like your name is something else, I'll just call you something else.
Dr. Heidi was there. We got to hang out with Dr. Heidi, her sister, and her mom. And let me tell you, they were so cool to hang out with. And Heidi's now 91-year-old mom, right? But 90 at the time. And boy, they were just always on the go. I was so worn out. And then I'd see the 3 of them, when we went back to the thing in the evening, I'm like, how are they so energized? Well, we didn't realize they stayed at a hotel right there.
Right there.
Which is what we should have done. Yeah,
it won't happen again, Madalyn. It won't happen again.
I saw you're in Texas. Where in Texas are you, Melanie? I'm in Houston. Anyway, so I'm going to just play a short clip of me going to show up at the House of Reps office, it was not easy to find. Nobody tells you in advance how hard it is to find them. When you go to Capitol Hill, there's these, first of all, it's across the street, and it's a ways from Capitol Hill, but you have to go way across the street and then down the street. Once you get across the street, and it's these 3 huge buildings. It's like, where do I go? I don't even know which one.
I know you would think that
it took a while
in the Capitol, you
It
would
would
think
be
that
easy.
the offices would
The
offices would be
senators
in
are.
there.
The senators
Yeah,
are. That was easy. But, think about that. With senators, there's 2 per state. So it's only going to be 100 total, right? So it's like, yeah, they're right there. That was a lot easier. But with the House reps, there's so many of them throughout the country. It was a lot. So anyway, the filmmaker from this particular documentary wanted to follow me to go. He already had interviewed me previously through Zoom. But we're just going to watch the part because it's just so funny. I just think it's just funny. Just me. And it was so cold out there. I have this huge hoodie on because, where I live in Southeast Texas, it doesn't get
You
like
make
Washington,
you look
D.C.
like a
cold.
pro. Like you've done this before. I mean, you do look like a pro doing this.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So I just want to play y'all the clip because I just find it amusing watching it now. So
I would have been talking to myself and everything. Like, where am I going?
It was a beautiful. It was a beautiful day. I mean, it was freezing cold, but it was so gorgeous that day. And by the way, in this clip will be Julian Price, Marshall Price's daughter. And I still get chills thinking about it. But, Misty had that video go viral where we were all standing in the evening right in front there, in front of Capitol Hill. And Julian wanted to read the letter that her dad wrote while still incarcerated. And it was just so beautiful. I should go grab that. I know I don't know where it is, but I'll have to go find it. Do you have that on your YouTube, Misty?
I do.
Would it be too hard for you while I play this? Would it be too hard for you to go find it and send me the link?
No, I'll find it.
Okay, because I would love to play it. Oh, I know we played it multiple times here, but let me play y'all this clip. It's about 3.5 minutes or so.
The AKA hosted lobbying activities in congressional buildings in late 2023, which included presentations by scientists and National Institute on Drug Abuse Director Nora Volkow.
Just from the perspective of health and safety, again, very low evidence that the use of kratom produces respiratory depression. But there are many things that we do not know that are important. We don't know how kratom products that are being sold with various contaminants influences health. We do not know much about that drug interaction. So you are in a medication and you are taking kratom. It becomes important to see that these drugs don't counteract one another or enhance one another. We don't have data on the long-term effects of kratom. And we also don't have data on the effects of the use of kratom during pregnancy.
Among the advocates were several people who told stories about arrests for possession of kratom in states where it is banned.
My father was addicted to heroin for 20 years. In 2019, he found kratom, and he was able to be completely sober. Kratom helped him with his withdrawals and suicidal thoughts. In 2021, he was arrested in Arkansas, where kratom is banned. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison. 3 weeks into that sentence, he was killed. And so here I am a year later. I would like to see Arkansas lift their kratom ban.
Amen, sister.
Advocates fanned out to make their case for the legislation to staff members for their senators and representatives.
It's like, where am I going?
See, I would have been talking to myself this whole time. See, you look like you've done this before.
Thanks. First time I ever did something like that.
They're professional. You know where you're going.
In town for some events, and I wanted to see if I can meet with the person that handles FDA issues for rent things. So I just met with the aide in my rep's office here in the house, and I had such a warm, receptive woman that listened to my concerns, really seemed to care that I care about kratom and really wanted to learn and understand more about this plant. So I feel really good about the meeting I just had. It went
for, several minutes. It wasn't like a quick get out of here. It was like, yeah, I want to hear this and I want to learn more. And she asked questions, and it was very validating as a Kratom advocate.
Yeah. That was so awesome. He tried to see if he could come in the room and film. And, when the lady came out to talk to me, she's like, no, he can come with you, but he can't film. So as soon as we get outside the door, he was super impressed. Like, he sat there. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm meeting with, the aide that handled their
For the
FDA
first
stuff.
time.
Because I showed up unannounced, and then here's the filmmaker guy with me, and I was like, okay, I gotta just be on the A game, and I was like, gosh, I hope I did okay. So when we come out of the room, he was like, you did really good. He goes, let me just set up the camera right here. I'll film, just talk about what just happened. So it was a great experience going and talking. Now the thing is, sorry, I ate some chocolate. I needed a snack, but not always easy. Like, it's hard to talk afterwards after having like a mouthful of chocolate. Anyway, what I did is something anybody can do. You don't have to go to DC to do it. I met with, like, wherever you live in the US, you have somebody on Capitol Hill who represents you in your city, right? So I'm in Houston. Well, big city, we got lots of them. Depends on where exactly you are on the map, where you reside. So the particular House rep, they're going to have an office here in the city. So I can make an appointment to call, do a Zoom, go meet them in person, or I just happen to be in DC. Let me just pop in, but it's something you don't have to go do in DC. You can do it locally. You can call them up. You can email them. It's a great feeling to let them know. Yeah, let them know. Yeah, you do that a lot, Venus. You've done an amazing job with that. But it's great to, like, get them informed. This lady I talked to, she didn't know anything about it. And she was interested in what I had to say. And it was a really great experience. So I'm glad I did it.
And don't just go for the Don't just go for the senators, go for your district reps, because I'm sorry, because they're the ones that are going in starting at the bottom. They're the ones that are going in and bringing this information, that are doing these little meetings, those health meetings, the ones that are just popping up all over the place. These are the counselors that are bringing those up. So, and they don't have anybody running against them. So if you don't like their views on Kratom now, you need to get them out now. So, and talk to the next one that's coming in.
And then, Missy, you've gone and spoken all over, right? You've done the state, you've done local, like everything, right?
Yep. I went to my capital twice to testify in front of the legislators. And then when we were in DC, at that time that we all dispersed to go talk to our own reps, I went with Julian and Shayna Brown to Cory Booker's office. Cory Booker is one of the sponsors of the federal Kratom Consumer Protection Act. So I was tasked at doing that. And then we got a cool ass picture in front of his office. So we sat down in there, and we didn't talk to Booker, but we talked to his aide, and she was moved. You could see the tears welling up in her eyes when Shayna was telling her story, and then when Julian was talking about her dad. I say, if you're not down with federal KCPA or KCPA in general, you're just in the way. Get out the fucking way. We want regulations. We need regulations.
We do want regulation. Definitely. Most definitely. All right, so I think we'll wrap up with the trailer from the Green Miracle, 6 minutes long, that we were talking about before.
Can you play Julian's first?
Oh, Julian, sorry.
The trailer?
Sorry. Let me go grab that.
The end of the Green Miracle trailer ties into Julian talking in front of Congress.
Okay, thank you.
Melanie says, Shayna, no, she's not the only one that's been arrested. There's been several others.
Shayna and Marshall are just who we were who we are still currently active with. Shayna's still facing 10 to life.
Yeah. Yeah, she's not done yet.
Yep.
Marshall got life.
Yeah. I'm grabbing this video first to watch. This is going to be Jillian Price, Marshall Price's daughter, right in front of Capitol Hill. If you have not seen this yet, it is incredibly moving. Thank you for sending the link, Misty. 2.5 minutes, about 3 minutes long, not too long. So let's watch this.
I have a letter here that my dad wrote while he was incarcerated in Greene County, Arkansas. It was addressed to the Arkansas Court of Appeals, and I want to read it for you today. To whom it may concern, my name is Marshall Price. I am currently serving a 10-year sentence in the Arkansas Department of Corrections for what is being considered a Class Y felony for possessing over 200 grams of kratom, which has been labeled a Schedule I controlled substance here in Arkansas. To give you more insight and background, I was physically addicted to opiates almost 2 decades of my life, that I was unable to be a productive member of society. Spent most of my days either sick from withdrawal or searching for opioids. I tried big pharma recommended treatments such as methadone, Suboxone, treatment centers, and anything else that I could find. This is how I came to know the leaves of Asian coffee trees contain alkaloids that interact with receptors known to be associated with opioids. At a time I was using $100 worth of heroin, I found $100 worth of kratom would last approximately 3 months. I was able to completely free myself from heroin and all other opioids. I've remained clean since November 3rd, 2019. This is a huge feat in itself. However, the state of Arkansas prosecution chose to suppress the fact kratom is legal federally as well as in 46 states, also suppressing federalism and the supremacy clause that each plainly state federal legality should even outweigh state law and state constitutions. By a great weight, I have been wrongfully convicted of trafficking a Schedule I controlled substance. Schedule I classification is defined as possessing no medicinal use. Meanwhile, the DEA and the FDA of these United States have agreed kratom possesses no threat to public health, but should further admit kratom offers medicinal benefit of easing opiate withdrawal and aids in overcoming opiate addiction with little to no risk. This all adds up to a grave injustice to my family and myself. I have maintained employment, paid my bills, kept residence, and provided for my family for these 3 years. Understandably, this doesn't seem exemplary until 18 years of addiction and miserable existence are considered. I want to appeal my case. However, I'm extremely limited to resources as I am imprisoned of now. Any guidance or assistance would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for your time and attention to this matter, as the conditions of my constitutional rights are violated in such a dire fashion. Sincerely, Marshall R. Price, inmate number 6322, Greene County Detention Center.
God, it gets me every time when she reads that.
I got chills.
And
right
the inmate
now.
number. God.
You know, and people think that drug addicts are low lives, pieces of shit that never went to school. You know, he wrote that letter. The Arkansas Court of Appeals never received that letter. But he did, you know, he wrote it himself. He didn't have ChatGPT to write it for
he didn't
him.
have that.
I would have needed ChatGPT to write that. He wrote such an articulate letter.
Right. Yes.
It was so well done. It's super impressive.
Ooh, I got chills again.
Yeah. It always gives me chills with that.
Yeah.
But thanks for grabbing the link to that. That was good, Misty. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we're going to wrap up with the Green Miracle trailer, the one that Jordan from New Hope Botanical has been working on, him and Tim Chakal. It's going to be good. I can't wait to see it when it's done. But they're still filming. They're still raising money. They are still taking donations. This video was released several months back. It's already up to 1,200 views, but it's gone viral on TikTok.
It went
right?
it went viral on TikTok.
Like crazy viral, right? How
Yeah,
many views? It was a lot. I just remember.
I haven't went back and looked, but yeah, share it. It's on YouTube as well.
Yeah, and just for anybody that wasn't here earlier when I mentioned this, so the links to everything we've watched today, it will be available a little later on my Kratom Stories podcast YouTube channel. one of the many places we're broadcasting live right now. I always go back later and put all the links in and chapter timestamps with the chapters to make it a lot easier. So maybe you were here early. We definitely have regulars that come at the beginning. And because we do this for hours, we're already 2 hours and 14 minutes in, no surprise, that leave and come back. So you can always easily get to the parts you missed by zooming ahead to the different timestamps. All right, so we're going to watch Misty's in It, which is awesome. It's a 6-minute long trailer. And then we're going to see y'all next
Wednesday night.
on Wednesday night. We'll be back next Saturday, of course, but we're going to do a special edition on Wednesday night, aka webinar. We're going to live stream it. It'll be fun.
My name's Jordan Richard. I'm 32 years old. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a business owner. And I used to be a drug addict.
My name's Chrissy, and I was an EMT, and in 2007, I got a back injury. I was on like 20 or 25 methadone a day.
What were you addicted to?
Pain pills, benzos, muscle relaxers, alcohol, and cocaine.
I've had 240 operations. I had already been taking opioid for over 30 years. I had lost all hope until I took that first dose of Kratom. Or Kratom.
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 Kratom. Kratom.
In the heart of America and around the world, a botanical revolution is brewing. A humble plant, known as Kratom, is captivating minds and igniting debates.
The FDA wanted to schedule Kratom and have it banned in the United States.
There is no one that can credibly say that the FDA is not heavily influenced by pharma.
As a member of the coffee family, it is praised for its reported benefits.
I have stopped 19 out of 21 meds. Wow. Because of Kratom.
And vilified for its potential dangers.
So why does she hate it though?
She says that, people have been known to die from it.
3 people have died from Kratom. That's 2 more than last year.
Kratom saved my life. It saved my kid's life. My life's completely different now.
It stands at the crossroad of hope.
We have our son back.
And controversy.
So what's the legal consequences if you're caught with Kratom in your state?
Well, you could be arrested.
But not all is well for the botanical newcomer. In an ever-divided nation, 2 opposing forces clash with fervor. On one side, impassioned advocates extol its life-saving virtues.
A Kratom advocate is somebody who publicly and passionately advocates to keep Kratom legal.
On the other, grieving voices mourn the loss of loved ones, attributing it to Kratom's alleged dark side.
A mother testified about the death of her son, and she said that her son had taken pure Kratom and had died.
In the halls of power, conflicting voices echo. The Food and Drug Administration sounds the alarm, branding Kratom as a perilous opioid.
Substances like Kratom fall into this conundrum where FDA can say, well, there's no benefit.
While the former head of Health and Human Services has warned of dire consequences if the plant were to be banned.
If there were truly 44 people that died of Kratom and there were hundreds more that they claim, it would be banned. Yeah. The HHS said, no, it's not accurate.
Reaching far back through the centuries, Kratom's story weaves through the fabric of Southeast Asian history, steeped in tradition, culture, and yes, controversy. It has been the companion of laborers and the solace of the suffering for centuries. In the modern world, its allure is promising and concerning. From the toiling fields to the urban sprawl, its users seek refuge from the shackles of depression, anxiety, opioid withdrawal, and the relentless grip of chronic pain.
I was on my way out the door to take my own life.
Yet amidst the clamor, a sobering truth emerges. Kratom's rise underscores a society grappling with the fallout of opioid overprescription and a populace desperate for relief from a healthcare system that has turned its back on them.
They fired me, and in the midst of me trying to find another pain management doctor, that's when I went to the streets and started doing cocaine.
In the tumult of conflicting narratives and fervent beliefs, one question lingers.
I'm noticing from talking to people that how many programs are there for the decriminalization of hard drugs because it's safer for people to consume rather than getting it in other illicit ways, and yet a lot of very powerful people are coming down on Kratom trying to make it illegal. That to me is suspicious.
Is Kratom a life-saving herb or a botanical menace?
Coroners called almost 60% of these deaths due to Kratom or metragine.
As the debate rages on, the answer fades further into obscurity among the barrage of misinformation and implicit bias.
You were put in jail facing all these crazy charges for a plant.
Yeah, man, I do think it's bullshit.
But it appeared that the government was trying to do all they could to promote false information about Kratom.
Join us
We're making a Kratom documentary
as we travel the globe, interviewing real people with real stories and discovering why people support or condemn this mysterious herb.
I survived addiction.
We will be presenting the facts, challenging the narrative, and determining if the case for Kratom can stand on its own.
I really stepped out of my comfort zone a lot.
For better or for worse.
Again, many of the individuals who currently are suffering from opioid addictions, they're most likely not even aware of the fact that Kratom is available. I think it's one of nature's miracles.
So join us as we tell the tale of a little known plant in Southeast Asia.
Oh, that's so good. That part with Marshall gets me every time.
Every freaking time. Because of Prohibition, Marshall's life was snuffed away from him.
Yeah.
And like, it's like, how dare he save himself with a leaf and not our treatment centers or our gold standard medications, i.e. Suboxone and methadone. How dare he do that? And then he gets sentenced to 10 years for having 200 grams of Kratom. You know, I say this all the time. We got way more than that sitting in our kitchen cupboards.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It can happen to anybody.
It sure can. That's why we advocate so hard.
Yeah.
Well, it's been an awesome 2 hours and 21 minutes, as it always is. And Venus is having some internet issues. That's why she kept popping in and out. Venus, are you able to hear us? It shows you're here. I don't hear you, though.
I'm duetting his original. It had 154,000 views.
Nice.
Wow.
So I'm duetting his the original video again right now.
Oh, good idea. All right, everybody. So great seeing y'all. Thank you all so much for being here. And we'll see you Wednesday evening for a special edition with the AKA webinar that we're going to watch together. And then we'll be back next Saturday to do it all over again. This is recorded. As soon as we're done, if you missed the beginning, you can watch the replay. See all the other videos we watched earlier.
Mm-hmm. Hashtag replay.
There you go. Thanks,
Hashtag
everybody, for
replay.
coming.
Yep. We'll see y'all next time. Have a great rest of your day.
Kratom Gals out.